All right, we are live today. Welcome everyone to the Wednesday live stream. Actually, it's going to be somewhat of a training today. We put a special presentation for you because this is a hot topic, and this is something that is on everybody's mind. When a year ago, when the rates did what they did, a lot of investors got out of the market because they didn't know what to do. A lot of you guys have been sitting on the sidelines. One thing that we know, we've been doing this for probably over close to 15 years now. Buying and holding, getting assets, using private capital. For you guys that are new to our live stream, new to Dave and I, we've been doing this a long time, and so we want to share some knowledge today. And the topic today is how we're doing cash out refinances in today's high interest rate environment. So we've got a presentation for you. If you guys could keep your questions until the very end, because we are going to have enough time for some Q&A. Any questions that you guys have on anything that we present here today, let's keep it at the end because we got a lot to cover in this limited amount of time. It's going to be jam-packed with value. And here we are. How you feeling today, Dave?
Good. Yeah. Bottom line, I mean, you had mentioned it. A lot of people are on the sidelines, and this is like what you see. Some people are like, well, I'm waiting for the market to crash and then I'm going to get involved, or I'm waiting for interest rates to come down and then I'm going to get involved. Here to let you know, we're going to show you our exact business today on how we are doing real estate right here, right now, making tons of money, adding properties to our portfolio. There's no waiting, right? There's this weird, don't fall into that trap of like, I'm waiting for something to happen before I get out there and make it happen. We're going to show you exactly how we are being successful today in real estate. We're going to show you exact data on why and how our business model is successful in this market. Don't fall into the headlines, the news headlines. It's going to kind of get your brain clouded. We got to be extremely logical. And the best way to learn this stuff, if you're new, is to learn from people who are doing it right now. So we're going to show you exactly right now what we're up to. Super excited to bring this information. And I just know it, RJ. I mean, I post these things on like Facebook and things like that. Everybody, like the peanut gallery, I call it, like the masses. Everybody just chimes in and they're like, talking about the real estate market's going to crash, or it's a terrible time to buy. I can kind of see some people's perspective, because we're going to look at some stuff right now as it stands on July 10th, 2024. The median home price in the US is at an all-time high. 419,300 is the last number that came out from the National Association of Realtors. We watch this stuff daily. And yes, I mean, prices are at all-time highs. We know buying something or anything at an all-time high is probably not a good move. You make your money when you buy, you get paid when you sell, you get paid when you refinance. But in our business, and what we're going to show you here today, we're not paying retail for anything. You make your money when you buy. You got to be able to get good deals. Nobody ever got rich by paying the retail for anything, So the headlines and the peanut gallery and the masses, it could be very distracting, because the data that a lot of people are talking about is not wrong. Yes, prices are at all-time highs, right? But we're going to show you that's like the macro environment. Everything really comes down to local. Everything comes down to like your own economy. And we're going to show you exactly what we're doing here today. So we're still able to do this. You're still able to do this. And we're really looking forward to this. And that's just what I wanted to start with here, RJ, because bottom line, man,
I think the audience has heard the saying before, like you don't wait, you can't wait, you shouldn't wait to buy. You just have to know the certain new, like the new strategies in today's market, how to do it, because interest rates do what they're going to do. You're going to have to get better deals. How do you get better deals? Well, you can't really rely on some old marketing channels, to get you the deals. We're going to go about, that in this presentation, but you have to continue to buy, because what real estate has always done is that prices go up. And when prices go up, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, you're going to be like, I should have bought back then.
I know.
I should have bought
I
back then. I should
know.
have bought back in, 2018 and 19. If you're on the sidelines and you just wait, I'm going to wait until the perfect, thing is going to happen in the market. So it is, probably going to hear it. This is probably the 10th time you're going to hear this, but you can't wait in the market. You have to buy the real estate at a good price, at a good discount, and then you let real estate do its thing. So you buy it at a good discount, and then you wait, watch. We're going to show you what happened to some of these bird deals that we're going to be talking about today. Without
And
further
here's the
ado,
thing. I mean, we're giving it all in this presentation. This is going to be our exact model. We're not holding back. This isn't like a bait and switch. This isn't like a carrot that we're going to dangle and you're going to be left with all these questions. No, everybody, we're showing you exactly what to do in this presentation. And then we're here for Q&A afterwards. Let us know the questions that you have. We got the comments here pulled up. But today we're talking about how we do cash out refinances, bird deals in a high interest rate environment. So interest rates are where interest rates are. They're, around 7%. And
yep.
here's the thing, man. Historically, that's low. Everybody's calling these high interest rates, in comparison to where rates were during COVID when they were sub 3%. The average mortgage interest rate on the street right now is 4%. So most people on their primary residence have around a 4% mortgage. And that's why it's like, oh, rates are at 7%. They're high. Actually, they're not that high. And actually, we raise private money and do work with private lenders on every single one of our buys. And we're paying 10 to 12%. So 7% is a deal. You just got to know how to do this. This is just another thing that I'm talking about. Like, don't get caught up in the headlines. It's going to create fear. High interest rate environment. Well, guess what? Is if you could still create cash flow and you can still pull out tax-free cash, which we're going to show you how to do in this presentation, you're still building wealth, guys. So let's not get too caught up in the headlines. Quick background on us, RJ and I, we flip 100 properties or more every single year. Rental portfolio is valued over 50 million. We've raised over 75 million in private money and paid it all back. Bought, sold, fixed, and leased over 1,000 properties, 1,000 doors, and we created a real business here. And we're going to be talking more about that as well. We've scaled a business up and we've scaled a business down. It's all about profitability, and that's really what we get into with our coaching. But we've been there, done that. We've been seen it all, truly. Over the last 15 years, we've been doing this a long time, and there's really not much that can be thrown our way, especially when it comes to building a portfolio and having a robust flipping business that we haven't seen. So let's get in here real quick to the state of the current real estate market. Inflation's sticking around. So this is what happened, everybody. They printed trillions of dollars. That caused the prices of everything to go up. That's inflation, right? Then the Fed raises interest rates to tame and control and bring inflation down, which they've done. They've raised interest rates. Interest rates have doubled since 2022. So in the last 2 years, interest rates have doubled. But what they're noticing, despite the interest rate hikes, the inflation is sticking around. It's sticky. So interest rates, since the inflation that they're trying to tame with the higher interest rates is not going away, they're not likely to lower interest rates. And even if they do, I encourage everybody to check out a video from our main man, Patrick Bet David. He talks about a reverse market crash. If and when they lower interest rates, it ain't going to make prices go down. It's a reverse crash. Prices are going up. This is how it's going to work, everybody. So interest rates are not likely coming down anytime soon. Inventory is extremely low simply because, like we've already mentioned, the average interest rate on the street is 4%. The current interest rate, if you go get a new loan, is around 7%, and current homeowners are not willing to sell their property and pay off a 4% mortgage to go have to buy a new property at an all-time high price and use a 7% mortgage to do so. That is
Mhm.
what's keeping inventory low. It is the lock-in effect, right? People are locked in their home because they're not interested in paying off a low interest rate mortgage and having to go get a high interest rate mortgage. So the median prices are at all-time highs simply because the inventory is staying so low. RJ, feedback.
Well, I'm also seeing that, there's houses that are on the market, they're sitting there, they're not moving as fast as they once were. Buyers a little bit picky because going into this market, they're like, well, I want to make sure that, if I'm going to go into this 30-year mortgage and the rates are where they're at, they want to be very sure and pick the right one, and they're not as crazy as they were, a couple years ago. And remember a couple years ago, the talk was, oh, once COVID comes around, then I'm gonna get involved in real estate. There's always this like thing. People
Mm-hmm.
have been talking about the crash. I'm gonna wait for another crash. '08 and '09,
Yeah.
when the crash is like, oh, I'm not gonna buy. Those guys that have been on the sidelines, this is opportunity for you, by the way, to get in the game, learn some of these strategies that we're gonna show you how to do today, and buy right and make it work. It doesn't matter with interest rates being at 7, 8, 9, 10. They go back down to 6 or 7, 8. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be somebody in financial distress. And the situation is, if you know how to talk to them and help them, you're going to get some houses at good discounts, or multifamily at good discounts. So,
So rates ain't coming down anytime soon. Get in the game. Like RJ's saying, like there's always something that's keeping people on the sidelines. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is fear. And then they just use something on the external as an excuse to not get involved. But deep down, it's just fear. And let's break those limiting beliefs. Let's eliminate this fear, get started. And the best way to eliminate fear is to work with people who are confident, and they're confident because they're actually doing it in the market, in today's market. So keys to success in 2024, you got to be going off market. You cannot rely on finding deals driving around with a realtor on the MLS. That's the all-time high prices. Median home prices are at an all-time high. And where are you going to find those? You're going to find those on the MLS. So you got to go off market. You make your money when you buy. You need deep discounts. You got to get off market deals. Number two, raising private money for your deals. Simply because, and you're going to see in these examples, you need to be borrowing. If you're going to do this at any form, way, shape, or form of scale, you've got to be able to get 100% financing. That's all the money you need to purchase and rehab a property. Any institutional lender, like a hard money lender or something like that, they're going to make you bring money to the table. We're teaching you in our model here, in our coaching, to not use any of your own money. And that's going to happen when you use private money. And then finally, the third key to success is building a team and having systems. But I want to just kind of make the point here, this asterisk, your team doesn't have to be so big. You see a lot of stuff out there, RJ, where, it's like scale up, build this huge conglomerate. Can you talk on that, on how you can build an effective team, but it doesn't have to be massively big?
yeah, it really doesn't. And what we've noticed is that there's a lot of companies out there, certain relationships that you can create, where you know, they can do the things that you need. For example, boots on the ground. They can go out there and inspect the property, and it doesn't need to be this like full-time person that's a W-2 in your company. So there's administrative things that doesn't require a US based W-2. It could be a virtual assistant. We love virtual assistants. It keeps our costs down, and it's also pretty they're really smart. And so we've used a number of virtual assistants. Instead of paying somebody a 30, 40, or 50K salary, it's 500, 600, $700 a month savings on that. So we've incorporated that into this business, which is a lot of it's heavily phone calls, calling utility companies, and I'm speaking on the property management side. It's a lot of phone calls, it's a lot of coordination that can be done without having a W-2 type person that costs a little bit more. And then you have to deal with the headaches of that as well. When we're talking about, a bunch of savings that you could do. There's a lot of technology out there that automates a lot of this stuff. They introduced AI into a lot of the apps now. So a robust CRM in terms of property management can do a lot of the things that was once done by somebody that is here US based. We opt in for a lot of that automations with certain, technology, and then the use of offshore work. Now, there's still things that you can't obviously automate, like you can't have a VA manage some construction thing in person. It's just not going to happen. But so you still need your key players like a handyman, like all your trades, somebody that has to go to court to, you know, do an eviction. But a lot of that thing is just coordinating somebody to go do that for you, which can be done by a phone call.
Especially utilities, especially working with utility companies and things like that. All of that could be outsourced. You don't need a massive team. Your time is going to be best spent underwriting deals, basically evaluating deals, talking to sellers, and raising private money and getting deals to the closing table, right? Because then you're going to be buying these houses and then manage a rehab. And, a key player in this business is the construction, but that could come from a B2B relationship. Work well with contractors, play nice in the sandbox with contractors. It's not all about a lot of newbies, RJ, and we did this in our past as well. We're trying to like lowball everybody and work with some crackheads we found off Craigslist to hopefully fix our house, and they end up stealing all the copper out of the house. Like, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. Just factor in the rehab costs when you're buying these properties and know that things are expensive to fix. Relay that information to the seller you're buying from to get a better deal, right? So a lot of this stuff could be outsourced, but bottom line is this: you need to be buying good deals. You need to be raising private money. We're going to talk more about this, and you need to build a team just to take some stuff off your plate so you can focus on revenue generating activities. What this business consists of in the real estate business, you need cash now and cash flow forever. That's really the foundation of what we're talking about. You need to keep the cash coming in now. That gives you oxygen, and that's going to give you food on the table. It's going to pay for any expenses that you're accruing as you generate leads and things like that. But ultimately, you need to set this thing up for long-term success. You need to be thinking 10 years out, thinking 15 years out, where you're hanging on to assets for the long term, because that's actually what's going to make you wealthy. So there's two ways to make money in real estate: flipping, which is essentially just wholesaling and fix and flip, and then buy and hold. That's our wealth building. And buy and hold also has perks, cash flow, long-term cash flow, tax benefits, amortization. That's basically paying down the loans that you use to refinance these properties, and appreciation. Things tend to go up in value, and you get to participate in that appreciation when you're actually hanging on to real estate. And flipping pays the bills today. Buy and hold pays the bills forever. And this is a really important one here, RJ, and then I want to get your feedback here. But you'll be if all you do is flip, you're selling the deals that you should be keeping, right? You're paying the most in taxes because flipping is treated like earned income, short-term capital gains, just flipping houses. You're always going to be chasing the next deal, which leads to the number one regret of all real estate professionals is not hanging on to more properties. I know this for a fact. I have family members who've been in real estate for years, 20, 30 years. They've been realtors on the retail side of the business. And now the dust is settling, and they're kind of, taking care of their grandkids and whatnot. And basically, they're like, I wish I would have held on to more. You've been a part of so many real estate transactions. You've done all the work. You've gone through the motions on the hamster wheel of real estate, driving to houses, looking at houses, writing up the paperwork, doing the closings, this and that, but you don't have anything to show for it. It's just a high-paying job.
It is. And we got caught into that. You get out of the rat race to get into a new rat race, which we call the real estate rat race, where you're chasing deal after deal. And from 13 to like 18, that's what we were doing. We were actually kind of stuck in our own personal portfolio at a certain number, and we couldn't get out of that. And it was just we were frustrated. And probably the same thing is going on right now to some of you is you're flipping, going after the next deal. Well, why not flip it to yourself, keep the deal, and instead of making the same thing as you would do on a flip, let's just say that flip is 25K net to you, where you kept that deal, did a cash out refinance, and maybe pulled out 20K, maybe even 15K. Let's just say, okay, after the dust settles, it's 10K after all the fees. Well, 10K that's not taxed is a lot better than 25K that is taxed. Let me repeat that again. You flip a property, make 25K. It's a highly taxable event for you. You think that's 25K is all you keep? No, you got to pay taxes on that. Versus you structure the deal and flip it to yourself, pay yourself a little bit up front, and then you do the cash out refinance, and you have, like in my example, 15 to 20K that you kept, then that's tax free because it's a loan. Which one would you rather do?
It makes a lot of sense. It doesn't look as cool on social media, but it pays the bills. This is what we're all about, is being successful, not trying to look cool. Sure, the 20K flip in your example, RJ, looks cool, but the 10K that's not taxed and you still hold the asset is a no-brainer. But this is not how the masses think, right? And this is why people who truly make it in real estate long-term, like you are able to do, by working with us and doing this business for yourself, is going to be long-term success. That's why so many people don't make it, because it's all about instant gratification. It's all about looking cool today with the big 20K check. This looks really cool. I'd rather take the 10K, hold the asset for the long term, and this way you're not falling into the trap that the number one regret of real estate professionals is not having any properties. Sure, you got 20K today, but you own nothing, and now you have to pay the most in taxes. It's a no-brainer when you start to look at it this way. Now, a lot of people, we've already made our point that buying and holding is the way to do this. It is the way for long-term wealth. But if you're just starting out, and if all you're trying to do is buy and hold, and you don't have a source of like steady income, it's going to be tough to keep food on the table and really ramp this thing up. And the buy and hold is get rich slow and stay rich forever. We're not talking about some get rich quick gimmick here in our business. It's not a fast moving train. It's a very profitable moving train. And we teach you how to do this so you can get paid up front, like RJ's alluding to in the past slide. You know, you can still keep food on the table and make money up front, make money when you buy. This is what we teach you how to do, right? But bottom line is, I mean, we're a robust real estate company over here. We're generating 60 leads a week. It's busy over here, but we're still only acquiring 2 to 4 rental properties a month. I mean, that's a lot, though, when you look at it, when you zoom out and look at the grand scale of things. But it's going to be tough to really live off that if you're just getting started and you got to keep food on the table. So this is kind of the point I want to make. We do everything. We still flip. We flip to ourselves and pay ourselves up front. And we are most bullish, though, on the buy and hold. And what it all comes down to at the end of the day, RJ, is you got to be finding the off-market deals. We've already talked about the current real estate market. I agree. We've already talked about prices are at all-time highs. You know, the inventory is super low. If you're not out there seeking off-market deals, you're never going to really create profitable transactions for yourself. And you must have a buy box for your buy and hold portfolio. And RJ, this is what I want you to touch on here, is creating a buy box for success. You got to kind of know what you're going after. And, you know, what we are doing as a real estate business, and we teach you how to do, is ramp up your lead generation to find these off-market deals. You're going to flip everything that does not fit your buy box, but then you're going to buy and hold everything that does fit your buy box. So RJ, why don't you talk about our buy box a little bit?
Yeah, so a lot of our buy box is really determined by our end goal financing. So you want to look at the end in mind, have that in mind. What am I going to do after I raise the capital? Like, what are the lenders that, what are their, terms? So right off the bat, you want to be talking to a lot of the mortgage brokers out there and seeing if they have, there's a lot out there, a lot of products that they have for the cash out refinance. What are their terms? So what we found right here is in front of you, that 75% of an after repair value, so after it's fixed up, is what they'll lend on. Some of them have seasoning, right? So you need to hold on to it for like 90 days. But a lot of what we're running into anymore is we're seeing lenders remove that. And so over the past, 5 years that we've been doing the cash out refinances of the late, they don't have any seasoning anymore. And so you can work with 75% of after the repair value, right? So do that now. Now you can work in reverse. So immediately I'm thinking I got to purchase a property, renovate a property, and my all-in number needs to be minimum 75%. That's like your max allowable.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously you want to get the best deals because that's how you're going to make your money. So that's your maximum 75%. So why not find deals where you can be all in, negotiate the best deals up front with that motivated seller to be all in for 60 to 65%. Gives you a little bit of a buffer because as we know, there's always unknowns in real estate. And when, the next point here is like your geography matters because you also got to think when you're managing these, how far can my property manager go? How far are you willing to go? And so that's why we've always played within Ohio. At the moment, we're in Ohio. A lot of our assets are in Ohio. We know the market well. We know it's a landlord-friendly state. We know that if we have to, we can get into the car and go and drive to the property itself if we have to. And what we know is that in certain pockets, there's better affordability than other pockets of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So if take a look at our current portfolio, we're sticking to path of progress areas before we get to the suburbs. There's still numbers that work in the suburbs, but not all of them. So we don't have buy and holds. Like I was talking to a wholesaler the other day. I was looking at a deal in Blacklick. Now, do we have a deal in Blacklick? We do. We have one. But I'm thinking off the bat, I'm like, all right, well, what is the after repair value? And I think the after repair value is around 350. So immediately I'm like, okay, well, maybe this would work. But then I'm looking at the rents in the area, and the
Mm-hmm.
rents only go up to about 1900. So, if you look at the 1% rule, it falls way below the 1% rule. And the rents it's not going to catch up um, to where that rent to value needs to be because what we're using a lot of these days are DSCR loans for the refinance. So it's super important to think about, all right, who are the lenders right now that are still lending? Because there's plenty of them. What are their rates and terms? So not only do you got to be raising private capital on the front end, but on the back end, you got to be talking to these lenders and these relationships with them and what their terms are so that you can then use that and kind of reverse engineer what other houses that you can buy that fits the buy box for them as well. That's what we've created here. That's why we have a 75%. Now, are we able to get better than that? Yes. Yes, we are. We're going to show you some examples of that, but that's what working backwards kind of looks like, reverse engineering what what the loan programs are so that you can do the cash out refinance. It's super important to know that.
And so I just want to touch on something real quick because I've been looking at this quite a bit, RJ, and we talk about the 1% rule. And historically, before the massive run up in real estate prices, what the 1% rule was, you take your ARV, your after repair value, let's say it is 250,000, and then times that by 1%, that would be 2,500. So you can still find that out there, but another way to kind of look at this. So take your 250,000, little formula here, and I haven't really talked about this on videos yet, but times that by 75%. So your ARV is 250, times it by 75%, is 187.50, 187,500. Then times that by 1.25%, and it puts you at 2,300. So you could, it doesn't always have to be 1% of the after repair value. And this is more advanced. This is stuff we get into with you, with our students and whatnot, really understanding this stuff, because it allows you to be a sniper then. But another way to look at the 1% rule is looking at your all-in of 75% and timesing it by 1.25%. I'm not here to turn this into a math class, RJ. I'm just letting everybody know, if you're sitting here thinking, oh, the 1% rule is basically impossible, well, we could give a little grace to the 1% rule if we kind of do things a little bit differently. But when you have this formula, like when you know what you're going after, the buy box, right? You are going to attract it because you're going to point all of your lead generation efforts towards exactly what you want, right? The biggest thing that kind of keeps people stagnant in this business or any business, RJ, is being fluffy, being wishy-washy with their goals. They don't know what they're going after. Well, us in our community, this is what we teach you how to do. Go after exactly what makes sense so you can be a sniper and not a shotgun. Right? So when it comes to this, we have found the most success in affordable housing. RJ, I found this yesterday. Look at the date on this. Today is the 10th of July. This came out yesterday, the 9th of July. Right? This is up-to-date stuff here. We are not some old real estate guys who started this and sold out 15 years ago, and now we're still trying to coach other people how to do this. Now, this is up-to-date. This is from CNBC. And it suddenly looks like there are too many homes for sale. Here's why that's not quite right. But they're basically, this is talking about how inventory's rising. This could be looked at as a negative connotation. Inventory's rising. This could create some fear. Supply of newly built homes appears to be way too high. See these bullet points down here, RJ? Home prices, which usually cool off when supply is high, continue to rise. Look at this little snippet here. So check this out, growth at the low end. On the resale market, the supply is lowest in the 100,000 to 500,000 price tier. I'm even going to shorten this, stepping out of this reading. 100 to 250 is just money right now. I'm telling you. According to the NAR, that's where the bulk of today's buyers are. Affordability. This is speaking to exactly what we're teaching people to go after. Higher mortgage rates have them seeking cheaper homes. Right. So interestingly, however, while supply is increasing across all price tiers, it's increasing most in that same lower end price tier, meaning it's simply not enough. What they're saying is, as fast as the homes are coming on the market, they're going under contract. This affordable housing model is red hot right now. This is like, the headlines aren't going to tell you that, because the headlines, they're talking about median price range, all-time highs, 419,000. We're teaching people, and the way we're building our business is we're going after homes between 100 and 250. I'm telling you, it's red hot right now, and you get the most exit strategies. And I would suggest everybody going after the affordable housing, because that is just not, you can't keep it on the shelves right now. And then also, you're able to get the deepest discounts. You're able to hit your 1% rule or your 1.25% rule of your 75%. Look, everything makes sense in the affordable housing sector. This is how to be successful in real estate right now. And I really can't stress this enough. So step 2, point all your lead generation efforts to properties that fit the buy box. RJ already taught us geography matters, so you have boots on the ground. Property type matters. We're just talking about single family homes and small apartments. That's really what we're going after. Those are the easiest refis. And if you're new to the real estate business, you don't want to get involved in stuff that is just a little bit more complex, industrial real estate, or even large commercial. Let's just get you some houses under your belt. We're going to show you in this presentation how we are pulling out tons, over $1 million a year in tax-free money. You can do this as well with single family and small apartments, and then focusing in on the right place where you have boots on the ground, but also where the numbers make sense. And that's that affordable housing sector. Step 3, use private money to buy and rehab the property. We want 100% financing, and I kind of already mentioned that, but you want to get all the money that you possibly need to purchase and rehab the money. And if you're getting a deep enough discount, even earn an acquisition fee, a small amount. You don't want to push yourself out of your success buying model. You don't want to push yourself out of that 75% of the ARV, but using private money is essential, so you're not coming out of pocket for every single property that you buy. RJ, can you touch on using private money and the importance of private money when you're doing this business successfully?
Yeah, it's going to allow you to just do one, 2 or 3 more deals versus having to put an outlay on the financing out there that's readily available. Requires you to put anywhere from 10 to 20%. So eventually, where's that 10 to 20% going to come from? It could, you could use a private lender on that, but a lot of times, that type of financing, which is kind of hard money, they don't like that. You can still do it. If you don't have, a lot of private money raised yet to get your credibility done, and you can now show to somebody like, hey, I got a loan and I paid it back. That's always good. So in the beginning, that might be necessary. But when you want to do more than 2 to 3 or 4 or 5 deals a month, this is how you do it. You get 100% of the financing. You're in control of your rehab money. You can pay yourself a little bit, so then you can reinvest some of that back into your marketing to get this going. This is the whole reason. Like, we want to show you how to structure these deals the way that we've structured it, so that you can do this for the long term and you're not waiting until the very end to get paid. That's, a couple slides. We want the cash now. This is the best of both worlds. From 2013 to 2018, we were heavily flipping and not buying and holding because we structured it the wrong way. We were just waiting until the very end. And that waiting until the very end is where people either quit because they're broke and they can't eat today. So we're all about deal structuring the right way. We can show you how to do that too. But this is super important to be able to scale and stay in the business.
Another thing, RJ, that we're big on, time is money. So as soon as you buy this property, so you found an off-market deal, you bought it with private money, you got all the money that you need to purchase and rehab it, maybe paid yourself a little bit up front, and now your construction crew is ready to get started on this thing ASAP. We want to begin the process to refinance this property immediately. Make sure your loan officer, your mortgage broker, whoever is doing this refinance loan is ready to rock. So as soon as this property is fixed up, as soon as this property is leased out and you have a lease, because the lender is going to require a lease before they complete your refinance, you're ready to pull the trigger and close on this thing immediately. This is very important. Time is money. You want to move fast. Your entire life cycle here, you don't want to keep the private money in place that long either, because that's going to run you double-digit interest, 10, 12%, whatever the case may be. And, we teach you how to raise private money. You certainly don't want to leave it in place. It's going to bleed your cash flow. It's expensive, right? So we want to start the refinance process immediately. So as soon as this property is ready, we can get this thing paid off, get your private money paid off. And now you got permanent 30-year financing on this thing, and that's where you cash out, right? The cash out refinance happens when this refinance closes, so you want to start right away. Now, bottom line is this. Cheaper you got the house, the more cash you're going to be able to pull out when you refi. This is why we're telling you got to go off market. Get deep discounts. This is exactly, we have an entire curriculum on negotiating with sellers. You got to know how to just negotiate good deals for yourself. The better deal you're able to get up front, the more you're going to be able to pull out when you do a cash out refi. And here's the fun stuff, RJ. Now we're getting into some real life examples here. But before anything, everybody, just want you to know, this is real. You can do this. Nobody gets started in real estate for another hamster wheel job. Nobody gets started to enter the rat race. Everybody gets started for financial freedom. Don't be like one of the classic cases of a real estate professional that works around real estate. They study real estate their whole life. And then at the end of it, watch, guys, 20 years passes quick, and don't be somebody who just has regret. I should have got started in 2024. I should have got started then. It's not going to get any better. You've got to know how to make money in any market. That's exactly what we're doing here right now. But RJ, here's one for 66. You can see the dates on this. So we're talking about in the past 12 months. It's July of 24, and we could go back and look at a lot of deals that we have closed. This is just a snippet here on this particular one. Due to borrower, 66,000. Here's due to borrower, almost 82,000. Here's one, we got 192. Some of these, everybody, we teach you how to do this. You can bundle houses together, and you can do, cash out refinances on a small package of properties. Here's one for 101. These are all this year, though, and this is just a small snippet of some of the cash out refinances we've done in the last 12 months. We've pulled out over $1 million in tax-free money in the last 12 months. And like RJ had said, not only is this beneficial because we don't have to pay tax on that money, but we still own the properties. We still own the assets, and these are still producing a positive cash flow. So tell me another business where you can get tax-free money, you can still own the assets, your net worth is preserved there, and it's still producing a positive monthly cash flow. And the person living in the property is actually paying off the loans that you used for the refinances. It's all about going after the right deals, structuring them the right way, like RJ is saying, using the private money. But it's rinse and repeat after that. After you complete a refi and the private lender gets paid back, what are your next steps then?
You got to get that money working in another deal, and get it always going. So you want to contact your private lender. They're probably really happy for getting paid back, but then also, hey, can we do that again? Is going to be their next question. And so that's why you got the marketing going over here. You're putting all your marketing channels. In other lives, we explain our marketing channels. And then it's like you rinse and repeat. So you do the same process, get good discounts up front, structure it with the way that we're going to show you how to structure, and then do the refinance after that. So again, it's like, how many more of these do you really need to be set, and set yourself up for generations? You're right. The time is now. When what are you waiting for?
Don't be stuck on the sidelines. You're only going to end up living with regret. And that's what we are opening up here. We are, basically giving everything away as far as our entire business model. And when you work closely with us, when you have close proximity to us, you're going to be able to get this started quickly. That's the thing. Speed of implementation here. We're going to teach you how to find the good deals off market. We're going to teach you how to raise the money. Right? We have actual recordings of us talking to our private lenders, exactly how we structure this stuff, all of the paperwork that you need. And we're happy to hop on a call with you and get you started. That's what it's about. Let's get you dialed in. Go to the site, creamlaunch.com. So www.creamlaunch, Launch, creamlaunch.com. There's a blue button there. Click on the blue button, hop on a call with me, RJ, or someone from our team, and we'll get you dialed in. It's really that simple. We work very closely with our community, and a lot of people are doing deals. You'll see on the site, creamlaunch.com, just a snippet of some of the people that we work with. People are doing deals, and that is the goal, is to get you up and running. Let's get your first one or your next one under your belt within 90 days or less. I mean, it's got to definitely be under 90 days. Let's get started quickly. RJ, any final thoughts on working with our community and how people can get started?
No, we're happy to help you out. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. I also added the site. Take a look at that and book a call. We'd love to help you. Even if you just want to book a call to see any resources that we could share with you, I'm happy to do that as well. And I was looking at some deals today, and I'm probably going to go live and see if it makes sense to buy them. So the time is now. What is holding you back? Is it the
Fear.
money?
Yeah.
No, we can show you where to get the money. Is it the properties? Okay. Yeah, we'll show you how to find the properties. What is it? What's really behind it? Because 2 or 3, 4 years from now, you're gonna be like, dang, should have took action back then. I should have. It's always a shoulda. Don't be left behind, and start today. Small actions today lead to big success later down the road. So
And you know what? If you are feeling a little bit fear, you're going to feel a lot less fear when you're on the phone with us every single week and we're coaching you through this stuff. It's not that scary, everybody. You can do it. We believe in you. And go to the site creamlaunch.com, hit that blue button, and hop on a call with myself, RJ, or someone from our team. We'll get you locked in. RJ, any final thoughts here?
that is it, y'all. We'll see you on the next